How did you find out your so was cheating on you? Hell, my 5-year-old grandson told me. He said, "You ain't my favorite pop. Rodney is." I said, "Who the fuck is Rodney?" The rest is history. My best friend had chlamydia she got from a hookup. And then weirdly enough my fiancé at the time started having symptoms of, coincidentally, chlamydia. I had just gotten out of the hospital for a spine surgery, so thankfully I didn't contract it. I gave him a ride to the walk-in clinic, he couldn't drive, and left him there. Oddly enough my ex-girlfriend, at the time, told me. She messaged me asking if me and my girlfriend, L, were still together. I said yeah. Sent me a picture of L grinding on some dude's lap at a party. Later on I found out she was doing it for heroin. Shared Google photo album had backed up some damning pictures. Her best friend called me and told me. She was very gentle about it, knew it would hurt a lot. Eased me into it, provided evidence, wished me a good evening. When that friend and I ended our convo, I called my then GF and informed her about what happened. It felt good to have a counter to every excuse or lie she tried to retort with. Going in prepared spared me from just going back to her, probably. We were living a few hours apart for a few months because of work. I was driving up every weekend to see her. She called me and told me that she had to go see her dad or something that weekend. I knew she had been super busy and stressed at work and she loved wild flowers. I spent all day Sunday picking wild flowers, bought a vase, and drove up to the house she was renting, intending to drop them off on the porch so she'd see them when she got home that night. Her car was there. A sport bike was parked next to it. And she has never been quiet in bed when she didn't have to. I received an anonymous email from someone who felt I deserved to know that he was seeing someone else. The email included details about the relationship and several screenshots. 99% sure it was sent by his side chick who wanted a promotion to main chick. I gracefully gave her the promotion and he found a replacement for her old position shortly thereafter. My ex's friend all summer kept referring to me as Scotty and I kept asking why and my ex would get mad at them, this was in high school, and shiv them. I finally found out that it was a reference to the song Scotty Doesn't Know. Oof. Came home from work for lunch unexpectedly. He and his heavily pregnant mistress were sitting on our couch. Found a long, maroon-dyed strand of hair in his beard, I have short blonde hair. Funny enough, he had constantly accused me of cheating beforehand. My ex had his Apple Watch sitting on our countertop with a notification from Tinder. He had a new match. I was congratulated on her engagement. I hadn't proposed. Me and my ex-girlfriend were smoking some weed together one night when we were both off of work. Hanging out in my room, she got up to pack a bowl and her phone fell off of the bed. I picked it up off the floor to hand it to her. And literally, while the phone was in my hand, she receives a text from a number that says you left your sweater here last night cutie, winky face. Chaos ensued, lol. My brother had absolutely no clue. He logged into his phone bill online to find a number he lost. The bill was divided into 2 sections, his and her numbers. He noticed he had 365 texts for the month. She had 9,000. Printed out the phone bill. And Googled all the numbers. Some were dead ends, some were guys she worked with. He called her bluff and said he printed out all the texts. Her reaction was priceless. Edit, I can't believe this blew up. It's really a shame that so many people can relate. This happened almost 10 years ago, the phone bills were way different than they are now. From what I remember, he had absolutely no clue anything was going on. I apologize for the wording bluff, apparently I used it incorrectly. And he printed out the text numbers, not the actual texts, because he couldn't get access to them, but he didn't let her know that. But he told her he did have access to the actual messages, but he didn't. I hope I'm explaining this correctly. She left Facebook open on the PC. I went on after working midnights and saw their convo. Sorry you had to leave, but he was coming home soon. I can't wait to spend the night with you again. Cue mental breakdown. She told me she was babysitting her cousin's 2 kids. I worked late, but I snagged 2 pizzas and went by, to find out she wasn't there. I tried to call and got nothing. Went by her dad's house and she wasn't there either. I decided to go to a friend's house to see if he would help me find her, and I found them both. She had been cheating on me for months, despite my proposal and engagement ring. Was the beginning of a dark time in my life. Thankfully things have changed. My former so wanted to show me pictures of a concert she just got back from. One of the pictures had the guy she was seeing behind my back in it. In a reverse story, a rumor once spread that my aunt was cheating on her husband because someone saw her twin sister, my mom, having dinner with my dad. She left her Facebook open and their PMS made it very clear he wasn't just a work buddy like she swore he was. December 25th, 4:02 p.m. She was at the beach to clear her head after a hectic week. I was with my son and 3 of his friends for an impromptu sleepover he wanted to have. I started watching a movie on our shared iPad that had her Apple ID. Then the iMessages started to pour in. Happy holidays to me. Her ex was from her hometown and she would get super edgy before she went home for the holidays, started obsessing over things he posted on FB, etc. Finally, it dawned on me when I asked her if she still had feelings for him and she blew up at me in a defensive rage. I knew then. She got a Snapchat from the guy she was cheating on me with while her phone was sitting between us, and things didn't go too well from there. 2 years down the drain. I walked out of my bedroom and my MIL was at my house talking to my SO, and I heard my SO say I lied about where I went last night. I then started listening to my home security footage and heard my ex, who worked from home, telling her friends while on the phone. I then had her admit it. 13 years, 2 kids, and 0 talks about being unhappy. Not me, but my sister suspected her husband was cheating. She hired a private investigator and then found out that he had a separate house with another man. He was gay. The family was psychologically scarred to this day. That was 20 years ago. At my final job interview to be a cop, the detective that did my background check figured it out while investing my ex-wife. My ex had tons of hickeys on his neck and claimed his dad threw erasers at him. He was 4 other side chicks in different cities. I suspected but didn't know for sure. One day, she came home, and I started playing It Wasn't Me by Shaggy and pointed at her. She had this look of utter shock on her face. I knew right away. Tracked her through the GM app that came with the fancy new car I had bought her. Health department call about STI exposure is more common than you might think.